So, as I was saying, I hold multiple certifications such as CISSP, CASP, CYSA, PenTest Plus, Security Plus, which are from CompTIA. I hold other certifications from Microsoft and from other organizations such as Cybersec. So, in this session, what we are going to look at is what are these top three certifications are, what are our options to start preparing for them, and what is the future for them, and how they can help you in start your career in cyber. And we'll also discuss some of the steps that are required to clear the certification. So at any point, if you have any doubts or questions, you can either ping in the chat or you can just wait till the end of the session. Then we can do a small Q&A, and then we can go ahead. So we'll try to keep this as engaging as possible, and please don't be hesitant to ask questions if you have any. We want this to be as educational and helpful for you so that you can get something out of this session at the end. So as as we are everything is moving toward digital systems, we are seeing new technologies such as software as a service. We are seeing CSPM, which is cloud security posture management, and the organizations have started moving from on-prem environment to cloud environment. Cybersecurity has kind of become a need for them. So right now there are 3.4 million job openings for cybersecurity professionals, and it depends from your experience from a beginner or from someone who has started in their career till a seasoned professional expert. So what do we think about all these certifications? So CEH is, if you have seen any sort of job posting, what you will find out is that CEH kind of act as more as a basic certification and as an HR filter. So in almost every single post, regardless of what it is, it could be something like a basic fresher or an intern, they will ask you for a CEH, or it could be something very technical and that could require 12 plus years experience. Still, that will also ask you for a CEH as your basic certification. So why is there a sudden need of cybersecurity analysts? Because the reason for that is, as we are, like I said, as we are progressing toward more of on digital environment and on cloud systems, everything that a company holds is hosted online. And earlier, what we used to think that the cyber attacks that were happening were results of specific people or cybercrime organizations. So you guys might know about the Edward Snowden leaks that were announced. And in 2017, one of the documents that was leaked, which is called as Wall 7, you can read this on WikiLeaks. So on Wall 7, you will find out that it was not just the cybercrime organizations, it was the government, NSA, Russian government, the Chinese, and everyone. They are also performing espionage attempts against other organizations. So it become a huge threat, especially with all these underground markets popping up, where you can just go and buy a ransomware or a malware for like $5 to $10, and you don't even have to do anything. You just have to install or run the malware or send it to someone who does not know much about the IT. So with this comes the idea that we have a severe gap in our structure and in our enterprise, where we have people who we cannot trust, or we have very severe lack of trust with, and we are not sure if they are doing their job as expected, and if they are not performing any sort of suspicious or malicious activity that could pose a negative effect to our organization. So, uh, Pradyuman, do you have anything to suggest or add? You can just type it in the chat if you have any questions.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah, so Mike, I have a question. So, may I know what the job opportunities I can get after that, and from basics to what is the prerequisite I have to go for basically? Because I have some knowledge of that networking.
Prerequisite for?
This cybersecurity.
Uh, Okay, so you usually they would ask you for to have a certification, that is a requirement. They also look at bachelors. So especially as an HR filter, जो how should I say this? So basically, your chances of getting without a degree is much greater कि अगर आप सीधे hiring manager से बात करते हैं, because the HR filter, as you know, the ATS thing, it looks at bunch of different things that don't even make sense for the job description. So उसमें लिखा होगा कि it would be a role for a fresher candidate, और वहाँ आप देखोगे उसमें लिखा होगा they require a master's degree or something. But the bachelor's and a certificate make the best, I would say, combo to get started. And the icing on cake would be if you have a prior IT experience, or if you're moving in from like software DevOps environment, software environment, anything.
Yeah, got it, got it. Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else if someone wants to ask, or are we good to go?
Yeah, Mike, you can go ahead.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So the idea behind this is that in hiring cybersecurity professionals, or you can say infosec guys, is that so there's this thing which is so the cybersecurity part of any organization is a net negative on their balance sheet because we don't generate any revenue for them. So you might have seen companies don't actually even hire the requirement amount of people unless and until they have a cybersecurity breach. So it's more of like कि आप precaution में बंदे hire कर रहे हैं, or if you are hiring them just for the showing that you have people. An example of this would be the Uber incident. You might have heard about it. जिसमें Uber में एक incident हुआ था and they did not have enough people in their security team. When the incident happened, they tried to keep it under wraps for like 6 months, I think. But it was eventually leaked. And what happened was that the CISO was fired, and you might have seen this famous screenshot from Uber in which they opened around, I think, around 100 plus posts all over the world just for in cybersecurity. Because once you get an incident, then you need to pay the fines, then you need to declare it for SEC within 72 hours, then the auditors come in, then they find the what are the weakness that you have in your systems, and then they will suggest this, and your reputation also goes down. And a lot of times these organizations, especially the ones that operate in financial and banking sector, what they do is they will just hire a random SOC environment, and they will just tick off the box because they don't care about the data and anything. Because like I said, US's cybersecurity or the information security team is not going to generate you any sort of revenue unless you're offering them as a service or as a product. So usually any company which is not serious about their environment and fines, they will just go off and go on and contract a random company and be like, okay, we need your monitoring and we need your incident response for this much time, and let us know what we can do. So, and then incident happens, then they go into overhiring, then they realize they've hired people over budget, they fire people, and it's a cycle that keeps on repeating. So, but when you go into a proper environment, right? For example, go into any Fortune 50 company like Bank of America, Bank of New York Mellon, you go to Goldman Sachs, BNY, uh, BCG, Bain and Company, all these companies, right, that are almost at Fortune 50 or Fortune 100, you will see they have very sophisticated environment, they have a very dedicated team, they have very segmented controls and everything. So this is where the specialization comes in. As cybersecurity analyst, if you were to clear CYSA, you would work most likely on the blue team side. But when you are if you're getting CEH and PenTest, you will work most likely as a red teamer, as a penetration tester, as an ethical hacker. So there exist severe rationalities between each role, but your skills will always carry over to each other position that most likely you are going to apply for. So CH, let me show you the website for CH. This is the CS script. CH is the current version is 13, and it has two different exams. So you can either do the basic one and then you can do the master's one. So master's one is very difficult and that requires a practical, and the normal one is where you answer a bunch of questions from from MCQ and then you're good to go. So what we are going to do is that we are going to learn everything. We are going to go through their course outline, whatever that they have. We are going to do the necessary things as per their tools that they have given, and then we will be going ahead with the examination. So the idea behind this is that if you can see here, it says that the knowledge exam will test you between information security threats and attack vectors, attack detection. So it is not detection, it should be detection. So that is another one that we have prevention procedures, methodologies. So the main issue with CEH is that it is more of how should I say this? It is more of an HR filter, and it is a requirement in USD DOD 8086, which is the United States.
अरे काय मला काय कळत नाही गाडी पण माझी
Yeah, so it is a requirement by US Defense Department of Defense DoD. So this is why CH is asked most of the time. So you have two options. You can go with either with the online one, which is 65 to 85%. This is going to be an MCQ one, or you can go with the practical one, and it would be through labs. So the labs one, we will be going through all of these tools, including Nmap, HPing, AppScan, the SQL injection tactics and techniques, and web server and web application, etc., DOS, DDoS. So, what some topics that come up in CH are your cybersecurity kill chain, the diamond model, then you have Lockheed Martin's kill chain, which is an 8-step model, then MITRE's attack framework. So, in case you don't know what MITRE's framework is, just yeah. So this is what we use in our daily environment. Whenever we are performing investigations, we are looking at detections and everything. So this is the attack matrix from ITIL, and what it does is it helps you identify what are the tactics and the techniques that are used by a malicious actor or a malware. So, for example, let's take a look and think of it in this way. We are in a phase of initial access. We know that there has been a reconnaissance attempt and a malware has been deployed on our system. So, what we would do is we would go here, and here you will see there is a procedure name which is with group ID and the group name. So,
Mike, can you zoom your screen a little bit more? Actually, it's quite,
okay,
soft.
okay. Is it fine now?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah, okay. So, so let me go back. Yeah. So, for example, we were on initial access, right? So we know that there has been a deployment or download from malware on our system, and what we need to do is we need to check what are going to be the next step. So what I will do, or what you will do, if you are performing an investigation or a threat hunting, you will go check and
हाँ सर
yeah. So what you will do is you will go and check what has been done. So in case we can see what attacks were done and how it were done, and these are the attacks of APTs. So we are advanced persistent threat groups. So here it lists you almost every sorry, 1 second. So it will list you all the APTs that we know. So it tracks whatever activities that they have done. So if you go to APT 32, which is VFE space group, you will find that last activity was there on 17th April 2024. If you go to, for example, APT 29. Last activity was 3 September 2024. And here you can find their campaigns, when they were done, and what are their methods. So by this, we can check where our attack is. So for example, if they are using a domain account or a cloud account, we can check what are they going to be the possible next step. And we can also, what we can do is they have a GitHub repository. So in this, you can deploy your own navigator and you can make changes and you can create a detection pattern as per your requirement. So we'll also take a look at that, look at this. Then the one of the things that you'll look at is so one of the things that we will look at is Wireshark. So Wireshark is a packet analyzer. So it is used to capture packets and analyze them. So it is used as in investigations. It can be used as a malicious software, or it can be used as a legitimate one within your organization. So TCP is the protocol that usually we look at whenever we are performing investigations. But again, it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at an can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. So where was yeah. So it allows you to capture packets and whatever activity that is going on. So let me show you an example as I have installed it right here. Yeah. So you can identify what activity that you are looking at or what specific interface that you are looking at. You can see there are multiple options for Ethernet, but since we are using Wi-Fi, so we will go with this one. And it will keep on capturing packets, and you can just press Ctrl E to stop the capture. And here you can see filters and everything if you want to define, and then you can just go UDP, and it will filter out only UDP traffic. So these are the different kind of things that we will look at in the practical session, how you can analyze them and how you can use them in your investigations. Yeah, okay. So moving over, we'll also take a look at what malware is, like virus, worms, and multi-party malwares. We'll also take a look into sandboxing. So sandboxing is the idea that you can perform or run any malware in a specific environment so that it can run safely and it does not infect your systems. Because this idea, the idea behind sandboxing is that certain malwares know when they are being run sandbox. So basically, the more sophisticated the malware is, so and it would do is it would realize that it is being run in a simulated environment and it would just not execute it malicious behavior. And this is a common way by which your threat actors write sophisticated malwares and how they evade detections. So we'll also take a look at these kind of things, and we'll also take a look at IoT security, which is Internet of Things. So it has become very used these days. So everything is connected to internet, from your fridge, from your microwave to TV to your watches, everything. So they have so many random endpoints open in the public that you can just use any endpoint, combine bunch of them, and deploy them as a botnet. So these are kind of the things that we would look into a CEH certification. Then comes the part for CySA. So CySA is for blue teaming perspective, and if you go to the CompTIA's website, So if you go to the website, I think they have CSA 00, the 003 is out. Okay. Concentrate. So you pass, get a passing score 7 and on a scale of 100 to 900. And the best thing about the CompTIA certification is that if you have a high certification, like if you pass CYSA, then you pass CASP or call as X these days, then you just need to renew Security X and rest of your certification will get renewed. So the it comes around I think 300 or something for I think for emerging markets, for example, especially in India. So I think it would come around 20,000 or something, but it is a very good certification. And in this also we'll look at mainly we'll look at things such as blue teaming, we'll look at log analysis, we'll look at Wireshark. So the tools usually are very same that we use in any sort of certification, but as you go with a higher level certification or expert level certification such as CISSP, it becomes more of a management level cert. So in this, what you need to do if you are going to attempt for it is that go through the course material which we would be covering, pick up any book that you can find that is easier to digest and learn, and then and then do enough practice tests so that you get at least 90% on each practice test so that you are good to go with the exam. So what else the CYSA gives you as compared to CEH? So, like I said, it mainly looks into the blue teaming perspective. It will help you analyze events. So it will help you analyze different type of log events that you have and how to paint a bigger picture. So how you can correlate two logs with one another and find out if the activity was malicious or not. And it will serve as a good option for you to go into I think more advanced certifications like BTL, which is blue team level certifications. So those are purely practical. So they are BLT1 and BLT2. So these certifications will help you get into fresher to an intermediate role. Yeah. So then comes the one of the main points, which is called penetration testing, pen test. So the pen test will allow you to know about everything that a red teamer should know. So it will allow you how you can engage, how you can write reports, what are the things that you require, legal documents, vulnerability analysis and discovery. So that would be used through Qualys or OpenMass. Reconnaissance and enumeration. So reconnaissance is when you perform the initial investigation and know what the target is. Is when you replace attempts of a target so that you can find out what the potential causes of attack could be. So in this, we look at IOC's indicator of compromise, indicator of attacks. We'll look at cyber kill chains as expected. We'll look at uh, system analysis. We'll look at system designs. We'll look at most such as yeah, we'll look at system modes such as high level mode, compartmented mode, dedicated mode, etc. We'll also take a look at how you design a secure system. So all these kind of things will come up in PenTest Plus, and this is what penetration testing. So you combine this with stitch and test, and then you go. So it will help you so you get at least past the AR barriers and get into the interview prospect. So if we go back here, so job. So what is the comparison? I move into the job prospect for this. So CS is more of offensive of the things, and it is theoretical and it is attacker focused. So if you're starting out and if you want to get a beginner's level certification, CH is a pretty good way to go. Then CYSA is more of a defensive side and it is more of an analysis point of view.
Actually, there is a network issue with the trainer. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. Actually, Mike, I think there was a network issue from your side.
Okay. Yeah. So before the job prospects, and let me give you a brief comparison between CEH, CYSA, and Bendis Plus. So CH is more of offensive thing. It is theoretical. So what you can expect is you can choose CH as your beginner level certification and then go ahead with it. So it will serve you as a nice baseline and it would be pretty good as your first certification. Then comes the part with CYS. So CYS is more of a defensive certification. It requires you not just to have skills, but have to have analysis, analytical thinking that how you can look at different activities and paint a bigger picture. Then comes PenTest Plus, as which is offensive, practical, and it is technical execution focused. So you need to actually on how to clear the examination. But as you realize, as you move further down the career, you will realize that you cannot be from one side. So you cannot just be blue team, or you can just cannot be red team. You will need to know what the other side is actually doing. So these kind of things are good at the start of the career, but as you move forward, you want to look at both the blue side and the red teaming so that you can advance your career as a security professional. And there is something specific which is called as uh, purple teaming, which allows us to do the same thing where you work on both red team and blue team. You are the one who is performing the attack, and you are also the one who is going to do the detection and the blocking. So job prospects. Okay. So if we go to any sort of job platform, you can go to Indeed or Naukri. CH would be listed as one of the most asking one after CYSS, CISSP. So CISSP is usually given to you after 4+ years of experience. So you need to clear an exam, then you need to get certified and etc. But CEH is the one that you can just clear right out of your college, and it would be helpful. And so for CH, you can find roles such as security consultants, network security engineer, ethical hacker, and I think there are multiple openings even in today's market. So you can go into network security, anything that has to do with red team. So you're not just limited to red team. You can also go into the blue team, but it also depends upon how much you can perform better in the interviews and how much additional skills that you can gather on. So, but ideally, CEH, what it pertains to is the red teaming side where you're performing investigations, etc. So, let me show you if I can find. Okay, if you go to Indeed, and if you type CEH, and you can see there are so many there are so many job openings which filter out CH as such. So you can see they're saying bottom three freshers are welcome. Like I said, engineering backgrounds, BTechs would be preferred, but that is not a requirement. So then you have this. So it also has CA Security Plus and Ethical Hacking certifications as a requirement. Again, you can look at this CS Security Plus, etc. And CYSA. So you can take a look here. So there is always a demand for these certifications, and every single company must them as per their requirement. For CYSA plus, right, you can soft centers, security operations center analyst, you can go into threat hunting, threat analyst, incident responder, and the industry that you can expect hiring in is healthcare, communications, government sector, and banking and financial institutions. So, government in India, also Ministry of Telecommunications is the one that does the hiring for the cybersecurity. So they have a contract based role. I think they hire you for a year, and after a year, then they move you onto the full time payroll. I'm not sure about that, but yeah. So in a government also you have multiple options. You can go into the government side products all over projects all over the India. You can go into any healthcare company, Vedanta, etc. Banking. In banking, SBI, banks, always to help them with their investigations.
Mike, there is a network issue from your side.
I think, but for
Voice is
me, it is
breaking.
working as fine. I'm not sure.
And now it's fine. Now it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. And so the government sector is pretty untapped in India. So the government has started actually doing the hiring on their own instead of passing it through the consultancies. Earlier, what used to happen is they used to hire it through consultancies, and the quality of candidates was not that good. So now what they are doing is they're hiring on their own. You can also go into the law enforcement sector, into police, and into forensics, etc. So it entirely depends upon which path that you want to choose to. Same goes for pen test. Pen test will actually help you go into penetration testing, red team, security assessor, and security analyst. So AppSec is where you look at the application coding, you perform the code review, you perform uh, s- static testing, you perform dynamic testing, you perform IAST, which is we call as interactive testing, or RAST, which is runtime testing. You will perform regression analysis and all these bunch of different things through different tools, where as in security assessor, you will look mainly at the controls and to check if they are working as expected. So, how you can pass the certification? So first is you need to understand these certification requirements. So you need to we will this is just for a mention, but this is what we are eventually going to do if you are going to start working on this. So first is the official exam and objective, which we need to work on as per their bullet points that they have given. What the exam formats are, number of questions, time, and passing score. And we'll also what I have done to pass my certifications is find out what my weak point is and what my option is. For example, in CYSA, I think there are 6 domains, and if you are strong in 5 domains and weak in one domain, there are two ways you can go about it. Either you can make your weakest domain strong as compared to all 5 of them, or you can make your 5 domains as concrete proof as possible, so that you can get almost 0 marks in the 6th domain but still pass the examination. So there's this idea right behind certifications. A lot of people just brag about it that I got 900 out of 900, and look at this. So nobody cares about that. A pass is a pass. You pass it at 750, that is a pass. You pass at 751, that is a pass. Nobody's going to come up and ask you, hey, how much numbers or how much you scored out of 900. Nobody does this. And as you move toward professional high level certifications like CISSP, they don't even tell you whether how much you have scored. They will tell you pass or fail. That's it. CASP also does pass or fail system. It is just one word. OSCP does the same. Elon Security does the same. So all these different companies, as them you move towards senior certification, they just start doing the same, because they also know that the numbers don't make much of a sense. Yeah, Mangal, you can just type it in the chat.
Am I audible, sir? Hello.
Yeah, Yeah, you are.
Okay, okay. So, sir, basically, I'm a fresher. So, I want to know, sir. So, if I want to go to Canada for the cybersecurity role, so what are the things that
Mm.
needed to be noted, and what are the modules that I need to learn in order to
Okay.
get a job in Canada, sir? I want to know about that. I am a fresher currently, sir.
So have you, are you, did you pass out yet or are you still in college?
Sir, I have just done my graduation in the last year in the month of September, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, so one thing about cyber is that there is no specific module to know and learn. As you read more and more, you will realize you don't know anything. Every single day that you will wake up, you will realize that you are an imposter. We call this imposter syndrome, and I think almost everyone in cyber suffers from it because there's too much to learn and there's just this amount of time. But I will still say get your basics down. At the end of the day, right? Everything comes down to your basic. So one thing is that technologies go and change. Earlier, we only used to have a type 1 firewalls. Now we have something called as UTM, which is Unified Threat Management. Then we have next gen firewalls, right? But all of them works same underlying principle. So a better example would be installing technologies, learn technology, and how do they work. Because tools will come and change. We have EDRs, then we have okay, so we have EDR, we have detection and response, right? About it. Then came NDRs, which are detection and response. Then comes the MDR, which is managed detection and response. Then there's a new thing called as XDR, which is extended detection and response. So you getting the point, right? So the technology will, tools will keep on improving as the time changes. What you need to understand is to happen within a day, within a year. So this is something which we call maturity in cybersecurity. You will realize as you gain experience and as you work on different tools, different organizations, different environments, different you will realize what the basic underlying issue was. A lot of times that I'm working on, if I'm working on an organization, I look there and I just and I will go, "Hey, have this weakness." And a lot of times they're not happy to recognize them because as a customer, they want to always want to be correct instead of being told that what is wrong with them. So this is what you will realize as you go down your career. And I would say if you still want to stay up to date, right? If you want to go into management, that is your choice. But if you just want to stay technical, you would need to you need to study every single day, regardless if you have a full-time job or not. And even if you're working full-time, you need to spend and allocate yourself at least an hour to 2 hours just to read about the news, read about what is currently going in the industry, or if there is any changes in rules and regulation, or if there's a security incident. So, eh, uh, so for I don't want to sound rude, but for if you're going with an Indian company, right? If it is an Indian company, then usually what they do is they ask you a bunch of different things, even though they don't have any relation to the job role. So I would say just chill out on the thing that you need to clear job interviews. Make sure you are confident in your skills. If you're confident in your skills and you know what you're talking about, and I think you will breeze through the interviews. There are certain interviews that you think you should clear, but when you go and meet the interviewer and have interviewed them, you will realize it was much better to fail that interview. So I would say just chill out on that part. Just know that you did your best. You have these skills. You can always get another opportunity. And remember, the basics will lay down your foundation for any sort of certification that you do. OSCP is still based upon the basic foundational idea that you know about CIA, you know about what social engineering is, you don't know about what cyber kill chain is. So make sure you know your basic, you understand them. Do not mark them down. रटो मत उनको, समझ रहे हो ना? So you don't have to mark them down. You need to understand them. So you can just understand how skill chain works, and then you can go ahead with it. or otherwise you can just what we call Rattu Tota, which you can just remember all these steps, but you won't be correlate them to the actual environment. So study resources that you are on right now will look if you want you can buy official study guides and training materials. Me personally, I never bought it because I think that is a huge, I would say, huge investment of resources. But you can go with the courses. There are free courses on YouTube, but for practice tests, you might need to shell out like 450 or 500. Let me show you. I think I'm not sure what is the charge for each. Okay, so Jason Dion is the one that I usually go to for these certifications, but there are multiple ones. Practice test. So yeah, so the practice exams are like 449, 450, and I think in my 3 या 4 practice tests होंगे. So yeah, so this is it depends if you want to shell out on the practice test or not. It is entirely up to your discretion. But see, it depends from person to person. Some require to go through practice test and some don't, so it entirely depends upon you. For books, I will suggest you books and everything if you want to go with the books. And videos, I think the other than the resource that we would be doing this going through the session, there are multiple other ones, and there are channels on YouTube that you can find that provide you the content, basic content, like they will give you tips and tricks on those. So there is that. And you can take certification on Cybrary and Clueless site also, but I think Cybrary goes for 4,000 per month. Same goes for Plural site, unless someone is paying for you, like your organization or something. I don't think it is worth paying that much of money for simple amount of subscription. So hands-on, we'll take a look into labs and everything. TryHackMe had the box. So TryHackMe has free labs, so we will go through that, and you will use the tools Wireshark, Metasploit, Splunk, etc. And we would be creating our own labs, so you will get an environment. And further down the your career path, what you can do is you can set up your own labs and you can perform your own analysis instead of just going through and buying the access to sandboxed environment. So these are the different steps that we would be taking to pass the examinations, and these are just few of them. These are not specific, these are not limited. This is just the initial ones that we are going to look at. So with this, the session comes to an end. So we have 9 minutes remaining. I think what we can do is we can have a Q&A. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat and I'll answer them for you.
Hello, Mike. Hello.
Yeah. Hey.
Yes, Shreya this side. Actually, I just wanted to know, for cybersecurity, is it mandatory कि आपको पहले firewalls की knowledge होनी चाहिए as a security purpose?
It depends, right? What role you are going for. So if you're going for something like a network security or IDS, IPS, then they would ask you what firewall is. But we would be understanding what firewalls is in any of these courses, so you don't have to worry about that.
Actually, मुझे सिर्फ CCNA की little bit knowledge है, CCNP की थोड़ी बहुत है, not that much. So that's why I'm asking to you कि as a अगर मुझे cyber security के लिए जाना है तो पहले मुझे Palo Alto firewall की knowledge होनी चाहिए.
Okay, so it is so like I said, product. If you go product specific, I think that you're setting up yourself for failure, because every single product does things differently. So I would say understand the underlying concept, how the firewall works, instead of going through what each vendor does, like Juniper, Palo Alto, 48, Cisco, Meraki, etc.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Karan is asking before VAPT or cyber, what is the prior knowledge? So VAPT is vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. In case any of you don't know, VAPT differs very much from cybersecurity. Cybersecurity includes basics of networking. It includes basic knowledge of computers like architecture, etc. And VAPT includes you to know the OWASP top 10, like what the weaknesses is, how the database work, and what are the tools that you can perform to analyze and identify vulnerabilities and then exploit them. So it depends from course to course, but the cybersecurity course, if you're going with a basic cybersecurity course such as CEH, it will give you a baseline for it. Then you add the rest of the things. So, for example, how should I say this? You have a cake, right? So cake has a base, then it has cream, then there is the icing, then the rest of the different things. So the baseline is done by certification like CEH, CC, Certified in Cybersecurity, and Security Plus. On top of that, you add different type of things like VAPT add करो, आप cyber कुछ भी add करो, वो blue team जा रहा है, blue team जाओ, red teaming करनी है, whatever you want to do, it depends upon that. I hope it answers it, Karan. Oh, any other questions that you guys have?
हेलो
Yeah.
सर, मैं एक्चुअली एक क्वेश्चन पूछना था मेरे को. मैं एक्चुअली इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड टेलीकम्युनिकेशन से हूँ.
किससे?
तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड टेलीकम्युनिकेशन.
हाँ जी, बोलो.
तो उसमें अगर मेरे को साइबर सिक्योरिटी में करियर करना है तो उसके लिए क्या क्या सर्टिफिकेशन करना पड़ेगा?
Okay, so देखो, certifications are good to go past the barrier, right? But कैसे बोलूँ मैं आपको, वर्क एक्सपीरियंस एंड सर्टिफिकेशंस आर यूजुअली द गुड थिंग टू गो. आप सर्टिफिकेट करो, यू गेट अ जॉब, आप एक्सपीरियंस करो, फिर उसके साथ सर्टिफिकेशंस करो. ठीक है, मतलब एक आपके पास इनिशियली एक या दो सर्टिफिकेशंस होनी चाहिए टू गेट पास द एचआर बैरियर एंड टू शो कि आपके पास स्किल्स हैं.
ओके सर, और एक चीज पूछना था. जैसे मैं टेलीकम्युनिकेशन में हूँ तो हमारा जो वायरलेस कम्युनिकेशन होता है तो वो बीच बीच में कोई थर्ड पर्सन वो लीक होता है. जो वायरलेस कम्युनिकेशन होता है, डाटा लीक होता है. तो वो उसका कुछ सेफ्टी हो सकता है क्या, ये पूछ रहा था मैं.
आप उसको एक टनल में भेजो ना, TLS टनल या VPN के थ्रू.
अच्छा, ओके सर.
Any other questions? I think someone was saying something.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, I've been enrolled in a basic, CCNA course.
Mhm.
So, and currently I'm working as a customer success manager in a cybersecurity company. So my question is, sir, basic networking I will learn from there, but like what will be the my first step for towards the security, learning the security? As I see in my company, like people are expertise in the architectural, like they know where to put the product in the environment. So I wanted to have that kind of knowledge so that I can help my customers that okay, in this use case you can use this product. So like my question is how I should pave my path towards it.
So I will say take one step at a time and learn what different technologies do. Like learn what IDS IPS does, learn what firewall does, what EDR, what CASB, what TLP, everything does. Then I will say there's a SAPSA guideline. There is TOSEC, there's ITSEC. So there are these other specific guidelines and framework that will help you if you want to go into security architecture role. So I would say take one step at a time. And there are books such as there's a book called Security Engineering by Jim Ross. That is a very good book. And if you just want to know how does it work, then you can just go and take a look at the book. The second edition is free on his website, so you can just read it and understand it. If you just want to go know how the gist of everything works.